coaches take a lot of time into perspective taking to bring their client or to invite their client in this reflective space where they can take perspective on important things for them. Well, like changing limiting thoughts, for example. Well, actually, the good news in ACT is that you don't focus on changing limiting thoughts, because that's not what matters. What matters is being able to do everything you want to do despite having those limiting thoughts. So for example, if I believe I'm not able to do a presentation, well, this is what my mind tells me. If I'm letting myself convince about that, I will not do it. But if I accept that my mind is telling me I cannot do a presentation, but still it's really important to make that presentation, and I connect to what's really important. How can I do this presentation while having the thought that I'm not able to do it? And this is what will make a difference for our clients. We want to free them from what's taking them back without actually necessarily working on what's taking them back. So that's about learning how to act according to what's really important to you, despite having things that can come in the way.
And I think one thing also that I see as being super important to this work, especially in organizational context, is like the whole question of values, because there's a lot of talk, of course, about values in the organizational context, but oftentimes they're kind of words on a wall, on a poster on the wall, and the way we work with this dimension in ACT is very different. It's more like not so much long verbal elaborations of, what our values are, although these have a place, but much more how do we embody those through the smallest actions, in fact. So it's more about the qualities of the actions. And once we move in that space with our clients, everything changes, because now the smallest action can embody the values that are important. And as they do this, both what we do in our professional life or our personal life in general acquires a deeper meaning. And then we see that we are able to embody those values. And then very quickly things change, not just inside of us, but also around us.
Yeah, and this is normal, because it's about deciding what's truly important and deciding on values from the heart and not from the brain, which makes a huge difference, because then you really want to act on them. And when you act on them, you add also on your credibility as a manager, as a leader, because what you say is important. You actually act on that. And you say that. So there is also this dimension of leading from the heart, from what is truly important, and not leading from your brain only. So it's about combining the two to make sure that you are efficient as a leader too, in that complex world that is at the moment. But not only at the moment, they make important decisions, and decisions cannot only be made out of a cognitive reflection. It needs to be a complete holistic element from the emotions, the mind, everything. And I see your dog is very interesting by emotions, suddenly.
Yes, it's very, yeah, it's really kind of, I guess, and the matrix, the ACT matrix really helps us do that, using your heart as the main magnet in your compass, and then using your brain as the kind of more, a GPS thing that will guide you once the main direction is given by your heart, and developing this felt sense of when you are actually aligned with what truly matters in the smallest possible action. And we have really effective tools to train that. So I'm really excited to give this workshop with you. I think it's the first time we're going to give it in English. Well, we've done a few presentations in English. We did one at the Harvard Coaching Conference, but I think it's the first time we give it as a full workshop in English, right?
Right. we've done 4 times in French, I think.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to be, and many people asked us to do it in English. So it's good that we finally acted again on what is important to us too, and to them. And but I'd like also to add another thing. You asked me what was important, and another thing that is important for a coach is that not only will it support our clients, but only ourselves. I find that coaches that are trained in ACT have a lot more presence in their coaching sessions, and they can build a stronger alliance because they are more attuned to what's going on within themselves when they are in the session. And they can look also and develop a stronger reflective practice to look at how a session went after the session. And that whole awareness combined with mindfulness processes, the ability to suspend their own judgmental mind, or to recognize it at least, brings a total, complete, different atmosphere to the session with their client.
That really fits back to this experiential nature of the work that, you know, first we train it in ourselves, we're able to practice it ourselves, and then we train it in our clients. So there's always this kind of fitting one perspective with the other, which, as you say, makes it an ideal approach to really navigate and build and nurture very deep working relationships with our clients.